The new villain in JJK Modulo is confirmed to be at the very least Sukuna level, and I honestly believe that this guy could be well beyond that. In an absolutely shocking reveal, it was revealed that their king, their leader, is someone who is comparable to Ryomen Sukuna, but just how strong is this guy, what are his motives, and how are they going to defeat someone who's even stronger than Satoru Gojo? It's absolutely insane, so let us just talk about this right here, right now. The king that surpasses even Sukuna, it's just crazy. Let's power scale this guy. So be sure to leave a like on the video, it helps out a ton, thank you. And of course, be sure to subscribe for a ton of Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo content just like this. In the past 2 days, I've already put out 3 videos and a stream, and I'll be uploading daily, or at least bi-daily, JJK Modulo videos. So trust me, if you love JJK content like power scaling and theories, you are not going to regret subscribing to this channel. But without further ado, let's just get right into this. So let's read this chapter right here. Of course, I'll read the introduction so you have an idea of what's going on. The aliens come and they're meeting everyone on Earth. On behalf of my planet, we are deeply thankful for the warm welcome we have received from Earth and feel the need to pay it back in due respects. Speaking Japanese. Now, before the meeting starts, the diplomat says we have one request. Would it be possible for our representative to be present to these meetings as well? Naturally, it would be fine. Is there any particular concern you have? Well, technically, he can't be considered unarmed, and you can see the face that he has as this diplomat saying this is just insanely cheeky, like he knows he's about to bring in this Ryomen Sukuna level guy. And he continues to say with this evil smile, I'm afraid it wouldn't be right for them to join us today until we've made a position of non-hostility painstakingly clear. And he walks in. This is just insane. He's got Sukuna level aura immediately. The two guys, Mino and Usame, are absolutely shaken up, and just the way that he's portrayed, he honestly, and this is just my opinion right here, this is an Honored One level introduction. And then later Usame and Mino are talking and he says this is no good. He's sweating and it's crazy. He looks incredibly worried. He's even got his finger pressed on his forehead. So that's what people mean when they say Ryomen Sukuna level. And this is the most important part. They are talking about this guy. Some people are confused thinking, do they mean the aliens? No, they are specifically referring to this guy because we see the guy, they're shaken about it. The immediate conversation after that is that this is Ryomen Sukuna level. Usame proceeds to say, if he wishes to, he could level a country with ease. Our position has been made clear. They're talking about this guy, and then as soon as they're finished talking, what they're shown after is a full page of this guy, as you can see on the screen. What this implies in terms of writing, in terms of artistic writing, because this is a graphic novel, this is who they're talking about. When they mean Ryomen Sukuna, I mean, it was directly said, if he wishes, not if they wish. He wishes he could level a country, but it's also the fact that he's shown, they talk about Ryomen Sukuna level and the threat, then they show him again after. They're like, he is the point of this conversation. Like, in terms of writing, it could not be made more clear artistically and with words what they are referring to as a Ryomen Sukuna level threat. I mean, hey, listen, I don't care if you have 50,000 semi-grade 1 or grade 1 or grade 2 sorcerers, you put up someone like Satoru Gojo, he's soloing all of them. They are not touching this guy, and it's the same with Sukuna. Like, he's just gonna instantly destroy them all like it's a joke. The only way they actually beat Sukuna was the fact that they had someone on Satoru Gojo's level, and then after Satoru Gojo had a full fight with him, they brought in a specific anti-Sukuna squad that had all been boosted to special grade, bare minimum, refinement, and they had multiple special grade caliber fighters such as Yuto, Kotsu, Yuji, and even though Yuji was special grade, he was even more special in this case because he specifically countered a Ryomen Sukuna who was already heavily nerfed by Gojo. And of course they took away his weapon of Higuruma. Like, there were so many things going against Sukuna, such as, you know, Maki being there as well, and so many special grade level characters. That was the only reason they were able to do that. If you have like 50,000 grade 1 sorcerers, and mind you, like I talked about in my previous video, a very good video, I recommend you check that theory out after this video. I do believe that not all of these 50,000 sorcerers, well, it's if they are sorcerers, of course, we don't know if it's confirmed, I don't believe they are all straight up combatants. They probably just know how to utilize their cursed energy, and of course it makes sense. Like, it goes into whole Geto was right, and what happened on the planet was probably exactly Geto's plan, and they probably had an infestation of cursed spirits, and that's what caused them to the planet, and probably why their numbers are so few, only 50,000. Exactly what would have happened if Geto went out of his plan. So again, I'm not going to talk about that in this video. This video is power scaling that alien king who's Sukuna level, but if you want to check that out after this video, it is straight up the video I posted before this one. But now, to actually talk about this Ryomen Sukuna level character, a lot of people are really hesitant to throw out this guy as Sukuna level, this guy as Gojo level, simply because of the pedestal that these guys are put on. But you have to realize that as a story goes on, and this is sort of a power creep issue that is common with all shonen, you can't just suddenly have the next villain be far weaker than Sukuna and Gojo. What is that going to say for the stakes of the story? How is that going to bring an interest in people? I just want to say, from a writing point of view, every time you have a villain who's very strong, and of course that villain's defeated, defeated, what do you do when you introduce the next villain? You have the next villain be stronger than that. Of course, we've seen that in One Piece, in Naruto, in Bleach, where we have the Espada, for example, being unbelievably untouchable and they get power crept instantly by the Quincy's. Or we have in Naruto where all of these characters are insane, like Jonin level is insane, then we have Kage level, then we have Sage of Six Paths level, and then we have the aliens coming in, the Otsutsuki or however you say it, and they're like next level even compared to the Six Paths. That is pretty much what's going on here, and it does seem like at the very least this is not dangerous power creeping. It's saying that he's Sukuna level, like Ryomen Sukuna level, which in and of itself is crazy. I mean, he could very well be stronger than Sukuna. And a lot of people are saying, well, how does Mino-san or Usame know how strong Ryomen Sukuna is? Like, that doesn't make sense. They haven't sensed this cursed energy. That was 68 years in the past. They weren't even born when Ryomen Sukuna was around. They would know because all of Gojo vs Sukuna was live streamed when that took place. That entire thing was live streamed from start to end, so they do know how strong Ryomen Sukuna is. I mean, it seems like as they were watching on the cameras, they could see cursed energy, they could see black flash and all that stuff, they could see cursed techniques, as we saw when the students were specifically watching Gojo vs Sukuna. So yes, people know how strong Ryomen Sukuna is, and the fact that just sensing him, immediately they think that puts him on a level of everything they saw in Shinjuku Showdown. So they saw the domain expansions, they saw him fight Satoru Gojo, they saw him repeatedly open his domain and the Fuga without hesitation. They're saying he's on that level. Like, they've seen the clips, they've seen the full fight of him fighting Yuji and everyone in Jujutsu High. And then right after that it says if he wishes to, he could level a country with ease. Our position has been made clear. So he is definitely Ryomen Sukuna level. What are my expectations with this guy? It seems like right off the bat they aren't going for a very hostile approach, because they painstakingly want to make it clear we aren't going for a hostile approach. And even it seems like within the aliens themselves, half of them want to do a diplomatic relationships, half of them actually just want to go to war and wipe them out, as you saw at the end of this chapter. And it does make sense when you consider that if Ryomen Sukuna was the strongest on Earth, if there was another planet, there would thus be a Ryomen Sukuna level guy right here. So what are his techniques and what are his abilities? Of course, we have no idea, but all we can talk about is at least his physiology that we see. So we see him in the first chapter talking. The way that he sits, the way that he talks, he does have the Honored One manner to him. It's actually very similar to Sukuna. When Sukuna was sitting on the throne inside of Yuji's innate domain, or I guess that was Sukuna's own innate domain when they're inside of Yuji's body and soul, he does have that attitude of him when he's sitting down, his hand on his face, but also when he walks through, it's just menacing, like he doesn't care. He seems incredibly, overwhelmingly powerful. Now, he does not seem like just a destructive force of nature like Sukuna. He may be that, but at the very least it seems like he can be reasoned with. He's not just going out destroying things, he does go and at least is attempting diplomatic relationships. He has a third eye and he doesn't look at all human, which makes sense because he's an alien, but of course, like with all of the aliens, they do seem to be like Tengen. All of them seem to be that sort of evolved human-esque type of person, where Tengen was a human, but simply living for so long, he actually evolved, right? So maybe that's what's going on with these sorcerers right here. He's got a third eye and he also has devil horns, which is really interesting because we don't see any of the other aliens, well, to be fair, we haven't seen many of them have devil horns. And of course, we see that this diplomatic alien, the main diplomacy one, he does have all of these Buddhist vibes and Hindu/Voodoo clothing, right? So at least, I mean, that's what I've seen online, that's what people are talking about, but you can just see it, the way he's dressed and the tattoos that he have. But this guy is very interesting because he does have some of that going on with him as well. He's got very cool tattoos. He has that third eye. He's got the tattoos around it, but he also has the long earlobes. First of all, very interesting. The most important thing is that he has demonic horns, almost Oni-like. Could this guy be some form of demon? And that would be pretty interesting because Ryomen Sukuna was known as the demon Ryomen Sukuna. So this guy could be someone who on the same caliber could have a demonic nickname, a demonic name. Please don't be surprised if that turns out to be the case. Just the fact that his cursed energy is on Ryomen Sukuna's level, this guy definitely has reverse curse technique, he has domain expansion, all of these things. Now, how are they going to defeat someone who's on Ryomen Sukuna's level? Like, as I've been saying, at least in the previous video, it doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna have an all-out war. It's just like the merger, and I'm not going to make this mistake again of Gege, but it keeps setting up, oh, there's going to be a merger, there's going to be a merger, and in the end, there was no merger. It could be the same where it's constantly hyped up that there's going to be a war, there's going to be a war, and in the end, we don't get a war, but what we actually have is a peaceful resolution. JJK Part 2, or I guess Modulo, might be more of a diplomatic sense and trying to find peace, because it does seem like half the aliens want it, half the aliens don't. Of course, with the whole cursed plague, and them maybe not liking cursed spirits, and that being the reason their own planet was destroyed, as I talked about in my previous video, or for whatever reason. Like, there has to be a tipping point, whether it's my own theory or something completely different. There has to be a reason why the negotiations fall short, but of course I do think at the end of the day they are going to make peace. That's probably going to be the main point of Jujutsu Kaisen, but they will have to fight this guy, and I think that we are going to see Tsurugi awaken and get his Maki-like moment, and we're going to see Yuka with the Yuta ring with Rika. Let me know in the comments down below how strong you think this guy is going to be, and more importantly, what you think his technique's going to be based on the visual design that we've seen. If you did like the video, be sure to leave a like, it helps out so much guys, thank you. And of course, like I said in the intro, be sure to subscribe for a ton of JJK Modulo content just like this. I have a ton of videos on it already. As you can see on the screen, I've already got 3 videos and a stream out just within the past 2 days, and I will be uploading bare minimum bi-daily, if not daily videos on JJK Modulo as it's going out. So if you love JJK, you will not regret subscribing, trust me. That's all from me, have a great day, and take care guys.